I love Undertale. Well, sort of. Kind of. It's complicated. Here, I'll explain. I'm no video game aficionado. Gaming has never been a real hobby of mine. That's not to say there aren't video games I have amazing memories with. I'm just not well versed in what specifically constitutes objectively good and bad game design. But even an uneducated plebeian like myself can say in confidence that Undertale is a significantly flawed game. However, if you're playing the pacifist run, you'll definitely get the most out of what the game has to offer. A fair difficulty, charming characters, a well-paced story, a fun world to interact with, and engaging if not a tad monotonous gameplay, which mainly consists of puzzles, bullet hells, and... yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're playing the genocide run, I hope you brought a pillow and sheets with you because you will fall asleep. It is so goddamn boring. You're insanely overpowered because killing monsters gives you crazy XP, so you can just steamroll your way through the whole game in under 3 hours, easily. And all the characters in the game just keep hammering home how much of a terrible person you are, so you'll feel like a dick the whole time, and as such, you're likely to derive very little enjoyment from this playthrough. The only real challenges it offers are Undyne and Sans' insanely difficult boss battles. But I do like these battles. And if you're playing a neutral playthrough, you'll get a very neutral game. Again, it has a fair difficulty and all the flavor that comes with it, but it's not a very rewarding experience. From a gameplay standpoint, I'm not the biggest fan of it, and not being into video games that much certainly didn't help. But there's always that old argument about how playable a game should be versus what it should sacrifice to tell its story, and since I'm nowhere near qualified enough to discuss that, I'll just leave it at I'm not crazy about Undertale as a game. But as a story, I love this story. I love these characters. I love the music, the atmosphere, the hilarious dialogue, the amazing interaction, the rich lore, the heartbreaking finale against Asriel, the wholesome and charming tone that this diverse cast of characters bring to every minute of this game. Undertale's story is the most heartfelt and emotionally resonant experience I've had with a video game since I first played Kingdom Hearts when I was 8. And truth be told, I'm a sucker for characters experiencing overindulgent emotional trauma. And even though I just downplayed it earlier, the pacifist run does provide you with all of that awesome shit and more. It's packed with endless amounts of flavor and beautiful set pieces that give you more insight into the backstory of this world. It wraps up everything in its story with a nice little bow, giving you everything you could want from these characters' journeys, and still leaves you wanting more. Put simply, it's no wonder it gains so much appreciation. Oh, yeah, and parts of the fandom were shitty. Like a lot of other fandoms, don't get me fucking started. But, like many other non-shitty parts of fandoms, there was also an influx of very dedicated fan art, whether it be music, animation, or speed painting. And there was one lone channel that did all three immaculately. The YouTube artist known as Bani-chan, who now mainly resides on Twitter these days, captured the heart and soul of Undertale's story and themes in just 5 short videos. 3 of them animation, and 2 of them music pieces. These animations depict select moments predominantly from the game's prologue, ending, and expanded lore, all with no spoken dialogue, just the sound bites and music from the game, which, if you didn't already know, I really like that kinda shit. I have nothing against people who do voiceover stuff for Undertale content, I just personally prefer when they use the in-game sounds. They showcase the relationship between a young Asriel and Chara, and how they had a very wholesome friendship. They regularly hung out under Mount Ebot, until one day a cruel tragedy occurred. Asriel was carrying Chara's frail and wounded body back to their village, and upon arriving, Asriel is only met with anger and violence by the humans, even by the one who he called his friend. The colors and compositing are simply beautiful. This is some grade A prime cut choice meat fucking top-notch quality shit. And the piano composition that Bani played themselves fits perfectly with these simplistic and gentle visuals. They perfectly capture that nostalgic feeling when you look back on memories of your childhood, whether they be treasured or hurtful. And this really helps to put you into the mindset of the characters. These animations don't have any binding narrative to them, of course, but every single frame in them are so well done. The characterization and storytelling is communicated perfectly through the animation, and you feel every single emotion that Bani conveys here. And that to me is the mark of a fantastic animator, being able to gain empathy and investment from your audience with just the visuals. Bani really is a talented individual. Being able to arrange these pieces as well as excel at the art of animation, all the way back in 2016, mind you, is kind of infuriating because I'm nowhere near that talented in 2020, and it sort of makes me want to scream. This is the kind of shit I aspire to make someday, but I'm just so goddamn lazy. Like, look at me. Look at me. I'm the cheapest looking goddamn thing on the planet. I make fucking Family Guy look like a Miyazaki film. It's these Fanimations that reminded me why I fell in love with Undertale to begin with. The sentimental and welcoming atmosphere really makes you feel like you're a part of this family. And while they may be short, these videos pack a wildly emotional punch. I know this isn't really a big archaic deep dive or anything. I just wanted to get my thoughts out on a YouTube channel that, in my opinion, portrays Undertale in the most thoughtful, endearing, and faithful light. Though this channel has been retired for quite some time, like I said earlier, Bani posts mainly on Twitter now, and their new artwork is just as fascinating. It gives me very Magical Girl Utena meets End of Evangelion kind of vibes. And, well, you know how I feel about Eva. Give them a follow if you want. You can't follow me on Twitter though, 'cause I don't have Twitter. 'Cause fuck Twitter.